Yo, Todd here, Center Valley Customs. Welcome back to those of you that follow. Welcome to everyone else. So, we're back on the tracker again, turbo stuff. Last video we made a header, got the turbo mounted up. I went to try to start it, would not start, would not stay running. I futzed around with that a little bit, the day after I made that video. And I was really worried it was going to be something to do with the EGR, because the EGR system on this thing is nutso. And actually, I want to say the California models have like a temperature sensor on the EGR, and if it doesn't see exhaust temperature, it like puts it in limp mode. So I was extremely nervous that it was something to do with the EGR. I ended up just unplugging the mass airflow sensor and fired right up. It doesn't run good without it, but at least it runs. There's actually a little map on here of the EGR system. There's vacuum hoses and crap all over the place. There's like 3 or 4 different switches, vacuum switches and whatever. So, but luckily that wasn't the issue. So, today, this video, we're going to work on doing like oil lines, oil drain, try to get all that kind of stuff buttoned up. So I ordered a whole bunch of parts, and unfortunately I ordered a drain kit that actually comes with a pressure line also with fittings and stuff that I need for this. Unfortunately, they're not going to be here until Monday. It's Wednesday, so I don't know what we're going to do, or I have one thing that I can do. I don't know what else we're going to do. So before we get into that, I want to just kind of walk you around the Chevy before I take it out of here and just give you a little update on things that we've done off camera, more or less. So I started recording some of this footage, and then I was gone with my parents or something. Travis and Taylor then did a whole bunch of work on this, and I wasn't here to record it, and they didn't record it, so I don't want to make a video of the start of something and then just have nothing to finish with. So I'm just going to walk you around it, kind of show you what we did, and go from there. So if you recall, this bumper used to be all bent to shit. So when Taylor bought this car, the driver's side front fender was all mangled, and all the brackets for this bumper were just all bent to hell. So we took all the brackets off and made our own brackets and actually tucked this bumper in a little ways. I don't know how far it's supposed to sit out, but it sits a lot farther in. And it's level now. So yeah, looks a lot better. So that was one thing. And then the other thing was the tunnel. I can kind of show you that quick. So Taylor and Travis did a bunch of work on this tunnel. Got 90% of that in. Got the cable, the shift cable going through. So we just got to touch up this little part here on both sides, and then there's a little section under here that's got to be done. Other than that, that tunnel is pretty much done. And Taylor also ordered these seats, which are pretty badass. I think they're, I'd say, fairly cheap. Like, I don't know where he got them from, but they're not like a super high-end seat, but they look freaking cool and they feel really good. So we had to modify the bracketry that came with them. So these brackets were for these seats, but they're way too wide. So we ended up having to cut it down the middle, as you can see, and weld them back together. So it wasn't terrible, but still kind of irritates you when you order brackets for a seat. Like, they come together and they don't fit. But instead of sending them back, it's just easier just to modify them. Whatever. So that's kind of everything that's been done off camera. Like I said, I recorded some of it, but at the end of the day, it's not going to make a good video. Taylor's also going to order different not shocks, but springs for the front, because it it sits way too low, and it's settled even more just in time. So I think he's just going to buy regular ones. But it's the end of the season. Whether we work on it more and get it done, it didn't get done as far as I wanted it, more or less. I wanted this thing. I thought maybe a couple months this thing would be out of here. Fortunately, it sat in here all summer. But it is what it is. Schedules didn't match up and whatnot. So this is going to go in the pole shed for the winter. We'll pick back up on it in the spring. Literally like 2 days of work, and this thing will be ready to run down the street legally and safe, I guess. So that's that. Like I said, that's just kind of what we've done. It's getting out of here hopefully this weekend, and we'll get back on it in springtime, I guess. It's just the way it goes sometimes. All right, so like I said, I ordered a whole bunch of parts, but a lot of them aren't here. But what did come is this. This is a Dash 10 bulkhead fitting. So what this is going to be for is for our oil drain. So we need to put this somewhere to get back into the motor. 90% of the time you use the oil pan, which is what I'm going to do. Or like on an LS motor, you can put them on the front of the timing cover right there. So, but us, like I just said, we're going to put on the oil pan. Now, I've already started taking the oil pan off, except for I ran into a little snag, which is no big deal. But I'll show you what this looks like under here. Can you see that? See how it's all golden? I think that is usually signs of people not changing their oil. I could be completely wrong. I've also heard that like synthetic oils do that, but I don't know. It's actually pretty damn clean under here. The pickup doesn't really have much on it. It's like 2 clobs of something. So that's good. It was really easy. There's a lot of room in here to get this out. The only issue is the pickup is like inside of a windage tray kind of thing, and I can't get it out. So there's an Allen bolt right up in here, and there's an Allen right at the pickup. So I'm going to pull those off, and I'm going to pull the whole pickup off. Hopefully there's not an O-ring in there that's all destroyed because I don't have one to replace it. But I'm going to get this pulled off of here, and then we can drill a hole and put our bung in. Alright, so I got this pan off of here. Like I said, the pickup, all it had is that on it, which isn't terrible. It did have an O-ring on it. It looks fine. We're going to run her. The pan is pretty damn clean. It's got some sparkles in it, but it's not, then again, yeah, it's got a fair amount of stuff in it. It's not terrible, but more than you'd like to see, obviously. But what we need to do, like I said, is put this bung in here. So I picked a spot already. Right here I made a scratch. So I'm going to try to keep this as high as I can. You don't want to put these submerged in the oil. You want them above the oil line. So we're probably going to end up butchering this pan a little bit because it has like a baffle in it. And where I want to go is right here, right where this spot weld is. So I think I'm just going to drill a hole in there and worry about hacking some of this stuff out later. There's another, actually, in here, there's another baffle that runs vertical in here. So we need to be, oh, perfect. We're going to have to come over a hair or something. I don't really know where to put this. There's really not a great place to put it. So I'm just going to more or less pick a spot and hope that it works. So let's get to drilling holes and shit. So change of plans. I was going to put it back here. The oil filter's like right here. So I wanted to be on either side of the oil filter. And I kind of wanted to be closer to the center of the motor so that my drain, I think the kit I ordered comes with 21 inches of AN10 line. So I wanted to try to be as close as I can to the turbo. Unfortunately, with that vertical, whatever the hell you want to call it, baffle in there, I'm going to have to go over here. So it comes with 45, so I should be able to 45 kind of around the oil filter. But honestly, at the end of the day, what does it matter? So I'm going to hold my little thing up here, bulkhead fitting. Still try to keep it. I also got to watch out for these indents here. So I'm just going to kind of go as high as I can, but still have a flat surface. And I'm going to just stick this in here, hopefully half-ass center. Make a mark. My drill bit is wonkier than shit. Maybe I should just take a marker and mark it or something. Let's try that. This ain't gonna work. I ain't gonna be able to see this. Alright. See what we can do. Something like that. Hey, I can see it. Okay. Now, drill a hole, drill a bigger hole, and then we're probably going to end up having to cut a bunch of shit out on the inside. And, yeah. So let's drill a hole, hopefully. And we're walking. And we're walking. Yeah. Would a center punch be that hard to do? I gotta center punch this. I got this all cleaned out. Beautiful. Got all the shavings out of it. Any crap that was in it. I took a Scotch-Brite on my roll lock and cleaned all this up. I ended up destroying this seal. Quite honestly, I kind of plan on just siliconing this for a gasket. But I think I'm going to do the right thing and order the right gasket. I looked at ordering gaskets, but there was 2 of them and I didn't know which one I needed. So I didn't order any of them, but I am going to order the correct gasket, so I'm not going to put this on tonight, but I am going to get this bung put in here. And what I'm going to do is something some may say is not a good idea. I'm going to red Loctite the shit out of this thing so it can never come loose. I thought about when this, I'll show you after I get this all put together. So I'm going to Loctite the shit out of this. And this is an aluminum fitting too, so I don't know what that means, but whatever. Clean these up good. Spin this bitch on. I did test fit this. I don't know if I said that already. I test fit this with the bung in there. It looked fine. But what I was debating on doing is cutting the rest of these threads off, right, so that it's flush with the nut. That way there's nothing more hanging inside the pan. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. But I'm going to get this as tight as I possibly can get it. And that's going to be it for the night. So let's tighten this bitch up and call her a night. I need tools. Probably not supposed to smash the shit out of those seals like I just did. Probably just supposed to snug them up. But it's in there now. So there it is. Not too bad. All right. Easy enough. Well, that's it for me for the night. I'll see you when I see you. Yo, new day. I know I look the same, but it's a new day, trust me. Actually, it's kind of late. It's almost 8 o'clock already. But I still want to get something done. I got stuck at work late. So anyway, yesterday I put this bung in this oil pan. Yeah. Beautiful. Nice. Nice. Okay. My shipment got here. What I've been waiting for is this. So what this is a oil drain and pressure kit. Comes with a bunch of stuff. Actually, one of the biggest reasons I bought this was for this Dash 10 line, because I couldn't find a small enough spool. I only need like 2 feet. All right, I'm not going to buy 50, 25, 100 feet of this shit and spend $100 for 2 feet of it. Whatever. And it comes with like the fittings, 45s. There's a straight in here. It comes with a pressure line. One of the other reasons besides that is I needed this stuff. So this is to more or less tee off of your pressure switch, which is, mine's down yonder, down there, whatever, we'll get at it. So it tees off, so it runs oil pressure to your turbo. There's actually a hole next to the oil pressure switch on the block. It's bigger, but it's not a quarter 27, eighth 27, whatever. I actually ordered a fitting that's laying up here somewheres, that's already gone, to a Dash 4 line to try to screw in that hole, and I'm pretty sure that's metric. And I knew that before I even ordered the damn thing, so I don't even know why I ordered it. I took calipers, I think it's quarter 28, whatever. Yeah, that's probably why, because I ordered a 1/4 inch. No, anyway, whatever. Okay, sorry. I ordered it and it was wrong. End of story. I think it's metric. It's supposed to be metric. The other things I got was this air filter, which this is supposed to be a 2.5 inch hole, and this is a 3 inch hole, so this is not going to work. Maybe it will work on the Chevelle while we store it, so nothing gets in the intake. Intercooler adapters. 1.75 to 2.5. There should be a 2 inch to 2.5 also. These are O2 bungs that you weld in. I ordered a whole bunch of them just because probably going to need them in the future anyway. And then an intercooler kit here. I did order, or not order, I found a couple pieces at the junkyard, but they're just not going to work for what we need, so I figured I'd just order a whole kit. All this stuff is Amazon cheap. Nothing is any name brand anything. Okay, like this oil pressure kit or whatever, drain pressure kit was like 36 bucks. It's Chinese garbage, but at the same time, it's 36 bucks. So if you get ripped off, you get ripped off. Like I did with that $13 air filter. So I'll have to complain about that. Hopefully they'll just send me the one I need and not make me send that back. I'm not sending it back regardless. But so, like I said, I want to get something done tonight. So what I'm going to do, I want to work on this pressure line and the drain. So I'm going to just throw a couple bolts in this under there. I did order the correct gasket for this oil pan. So when that comes Monday, I will button it all up legitimately, but for now we'll just throw a couple bolts in it so we can like get everything mocked up. So I'm going to throw that on quick and then I'll bring you back in. So I got the oil pan on with a couple bolts. I actually put this end on this line right away just because, but before I go putting the header and stuff on, I want to get this pressure line on. So right here is my oil pressure sensor. So we're going to take this out, which is just finger tight right now. And then I'm going to thread this in there, this T, and plug one end, put this in the other end, and then my oil line will thread into that. I planned on using my original oil line, but I forgot that it's a AN-4 end on that end, so it won't work for this. But this will be fine. It's just longer. I think my other line was going to be like the perfect length, where this will be a little longer and might actually work out to get around the header so we're not up against the header. So I'm going to get this stuff all put together. We can get the header bolted on, set the turbo on, and go from there. Alright, this doesn't fit in here very well, but it has to be the right thread because the oil pressure deal fits in here just fine. So I don't know what the deal is with that. Oh, come on. You can do it. There it went. I don't know if you can see it, but like I said, there's another plug right here that's in the same oil galley, and I wanted to come just out of there. That way it's by itself. I don't know. Keep it clean, but I don't know. That's metric something. I have no idea. I spent like an hour trying to figure out what size it was, and I couldn't figure it out. So I gave up. Now I'm going to bolt this header on and start mocking some stuff up. Alright, so my oil line, of course I wrapped it around the engine mount so that it wouldn't hit the steering shaft, but now it's too short. Oh, maybe not. This is going on here. If it would. What the hell did I do with that little presser right here? Okay, that's probably gonna have to come off of there eventually, so I'm just gonna leave it loose. So that'll go on there. I'll tighten this all up. So I was able to use this one fitting that I needed, or wanted to use anyways. It's got a small, this whole union here has a pretty small hole so that you can't overpressure the turbo. So that was the main thing I wanted out of, you know, the original or whatever, that Jetta pressure line kit that I ordered. So that should be good now. So now we got to figure out the drain. Which, ouchie, mama. I'm going to have to crawl underneath and stick it on the oil pan. Okay, do we have enough hose? Oh, that actually works out pretty damn good. If I could see what I'm looking at here. Okay, this is probably going to have to come off now. That wouldn't be the worst right there. It'd actually be pretty damn good. Alright, I need a marker. Let's see here. I'm going to hold it tight, and then I'm going to cut it. Something like that. Something like that should work, I think. I hope. Alright, heat's going to kick on, so I'm going to take that line off, cut it. I will put a straight end on it that I have right here, and then that should be wrapped up. Alright, hopefully this will fit under there. Can't see what I'm doing. This might be a little long. This might be a lot of long. Yeah, this thing's pretty long. Stick it on, see if I can maneuver the hose around, otherwise I might take it apart and cut an inch out of it. Yeah, that's really long. Well, I'm going to take an inch out of this tube. Hopefully, anyways. That'll be too short. Oh, there we go. Got our drain, got our pressure line. Can't really see anything from here, but looks all right. Show you underneath if I can. As where it comes out, goes up. I wish that it wasn't directly under the oil filter, but it is what it is. It'll work. Well, that's all for me for the night. We got our oil line on, we got our drain line on. Hey, a couple hours a night. If you got a couple hours a night to work on a project, do it. I mean, those couple hours add up over time. So, yeah. Well, tomorrow we'll play around with intercooler piping. And I'd like to run it. I might end up dumping some random oil that I got laying around in there even without a gasket. Oh, but then I gotta put, no, we can't do that because then I gotta put the pickup on. So unfortunately, we're probably not gonna see this run this weekend, but at least we'll get everything mocked up and ready to rock. So I'll see you tomorrow. Yo, new day. Late again. It's like 7:30 already. Got done with work early. Had to do a bunch of household outdoor projects getting ready for winter because it's like 70 this weekend, so I need to take advantage of the warm weather. It goes from 70 to 40s, back up to 70. After this weekend, it's probably just going to decline and get cold. Other than that, my wife went to Vegas and left me here by my lonesome. So, guys' weekend, what does that mean? I don't know. Work on this and starve for 3 days until she comes back. I don't know. But today, we are going to work on some intercooler piping. Well, I call it intercooler, but I'm not going to run an intercooler. I bought one. It's over yonder, down there, somewheres, right there. There is a decent spot for it in front of the radiator, like below the radiator. Unfortunately, there's no way to get pipes in and out of that area without, honestly, I don't even think I could cut holes in anything because the frame rails are too tight, and to go underneath, you'd have to go underneath the steering arm and all the other garbage and A-arms and whatnot. So we're going to run no intercooler for the time being anyways, till it blows up and we put a different motor in it. Anyway, we'll worry about that when that time comes. But what we're going to start with today, like I said, I bought this charge pipe kit or whatever, pretty cheap. If I bought it, it's cheap. So it comes with a bunch of U's, 90s, some straights. I think there's a 45 in here somewhere. Pretty much everything you need to put a kit together or put something together, more or less. But what we need to start with is attempting to clock this turbo a different direction. Now, I didn't really think about this too much till now, yesterday, whatever. This wastegate bracket, if you can see on the back side, there's 4 bolts on here. One here, here, on the bottom, and then one on the other side. This wastegate bolts to 2 of them. So what that means is for us to clock this, this housing needs to line up. How do I say this? If we turn this housing, these holes need to line up with this bracket, because you can't move, you know, where the wastegate is. So more or less what that means is we can only clock this turbo a quarter turn at a time. So you can't just put it wherever you want it, which kind of sucks, because I pretty much know, I guess, this is not going to work, obviously. And if we turn this 90 degrees more or less, this is going to be coming out down here. And it's not what we want, but unfortunately, I'm thinking it's the best we're going to get. If I try to rotate this back 90, this charge pipe, or whatever you want to call this outlet, is probably going to be hitting our wastegate vacuum boost apparatus. So that kind of sucks. But I'm going to give it a go and see what we get out of this. It's probably not going to be pretty. We're probably going to have to get pretty creative with piping here. And that's just the way it's going to be. It's just the way it's going to be, I guess. So first thing I'm going to have to do is take these 2 bolts that hold this bracket completely out. More or less, this housing just kind of sandwiches between this bracket and whatever. So when I take these bolts out, I don't know what's going to happen exactly. But we're going to see what we can do. This turbo is probably not designed to be mounted straight up like I have it. It's probably more designed to be turned 90 degrees, maybe even facing down. I'm not sure. So I kind of probably should have thought about that when I bought / made this header, but I didn't. So this is where we're at. So let's loosen some stuff up, take some bolts out, rotate some things, see if we can make this work. So first thing I'm going to do is just crack this loose so that that vacuum line can twist on here, just like a banjo bolt, whatever you want to call it. Next, we are going to take these 2 bolts out, which are just, I think they're M6. Although I can't get, nor can I see the other one. Oh, there it went. Now I'll just crack these loose. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Okay, so this should rotate now. Now ideally, I would like this. What am I hitting? Oh, I'm hitting my oil drain thing. I guess I'm going to end up taking this bolt out too, which is going to have to come out probably anyway. So ideally, I'd kind of like it like that. Fortunately, this does not line up. Oh, you know what? This might not be as bad as I thought. And then again, it might not be as bad as I was expecting it to be, but it's not going to be great. I can tell you that right now. 'Cause we ain't got much room here. I do have a 90. Yeah, I don't know. How much of this can I move? Oh, this does move on here, though. Oh, but this has got to be square. It kind of sucks. Let's just put a bolt in this. That's kind of where it should be for this linkage back here to be centered and nice and straight. But we might cheat it. Something like that. Wrench. Probably just going to tighten this up because we really don't have much of a choice on where to go with it. Really don't. Does it still spin? Okay, good. Tight. 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 Okay, so that's going to be probably the best we're going to get, which is absolutely not great. But like I said, we really don't have a choice. Okay, so my initial plan was to run this straight pipe straight out of here, like that. And then I was going to take this U and go like this. That was before I realized that this cannot be clocked parallel. Parallel? Horizontal. Whatever. Horizontal. So, that's not going to work for us. You know what? It very possibly still maybe could. It still maybe could. This boot is not going to be happy like that. That would be the easiest thing to do. But obviously that ain't going to work with this angle down. Although I do have Gotta push it way out here though, maybe. Mosquitoes are back. I have a couple of these 90s. Unfortunately, these 90s are 2.5, and this is like 2-inch maybe. So these don't fit on here. But I could order a 2-inch to 2.5 90, and then we could throw a little hunk of pipe in here. It'll look stupid, but it is what it is. I mean, look at what we're doing. And then we could just go like that, which is probably the better option, to be honest. I just don't have parts to do that. So that kind of sucks. This is probably what we're going to end up with. Something stupid looking like this. But I have like regular steel, not steel, but aluminum 90s. Unfortunately, this bend radius is pretty long. But if I did do that, if I was to cut this down as tight as I can, that would swoop out to there. Let me grab another 90. This might actually work. Well, then I might as well just take the U. Anyway, let's continue what I was thinking in the first place. Could I make that work? I'd probably have to push this back a bunch. I don't know if that would work or not. I hate to go cutting these and then it not work. Although, what do we really need these for? I guess we don't really need them for anything, so what does it matter if I cut them or not? That's not going to work. Honestly, I think at the end of the day, my best bet is going to be to order the correct, like a 2-inch boot. So we're going to work on this end, going from here over to here. So what I want to do is utilize the mass airflow thingamajigger, just so this runs as best as it can run. So my plan is take this 45, come out of here, stick this on here, and then I would like to put another chunk on this side with the air filter, because I would assume, completely assuming here, that you probably do not want to put your air filter just directly on here. You know what? It doesn't matter, because that's the way it is on the when the air box was in here. So I take that back. I'm probably just gonna cut this as short as I can so that this this distance here is still on a straight part, and then we'll just throw this on the other end. May have to cut it back a little bit, I don't know. And then our air filter can go right on the end of this, if there's enough room anyways. That's the plan. And then maybe this wiring will still reach. Alright, I took some off this pipe and I took some off of here, probably way too much. Oh, look at that. I could probably live with that. It's a little tight to this power steering thing, but actually it's right on it. I could maybe move this. I can't even do that. I was going to say move this to the other side, but I can't do that either. So that might be the best we're going to get. Let's take a peek in here once. Yeah, that's probably all we're going to get out of it, unfortunately. Could try cutting this gasket down. ain't gonna help me either though. Oh, that's better. I must have just didn't have this on all the way. That looks good, just like that. Perfect. Okay. So now, figure out where this is gonna go. This is gonna go like this. This boot was a pain in the ass to get on here, so I'm not taking it off. Yep, right direction. So I'm going to try to keep this as close as I can. Something like so. So I'll mark that here. Where's my marker? Straight cut, please. Coming right up. That's not straight. Like at all. Wow, that's terrible. That is terrible. Try again. Do I want to try again? Try again. Oh. Alright. So this should go on here. This should go on here. Oh yeah, that's something like that. Looks stupid, but that's okay. Now, oh, that might actually work. I'll be damn, well, not over here, eh? Something like that is what we're looking for. Yeah, that looks stupid. Probably gonna end up ordering because this is the wrong one. Obviously, this is a 3-inch. I should have ordered a 2.5. I ordered the wrong one. It wasn't Amazon's fault. It was mine. I'll probably order a short one. Those short, stupid-looking ones that you can get. That's probably what I'll end up ordering. That way it'll fit right in here. This thing ain't going to be sucking that much air, so it's not like it's going to be restricting it. I would hope anyway. So I'm not going to put clamps on this. Will this still reach? Ooh. I'm going to have to extend these wires. There. So that will reach. Yeah, that'll reach. So that's good. Shit. There should be a temperature sensor that's got to go in here. But where is going to be the real question. So that's probably about as far as we can go because I don't have an air filter and I don't have this whole pieces. I guess we could look at our blow-off valve where that could go, although I can't weld it because I do not have any way to weld aluminum. But at least we can kind of get this situated, I guess. Now, this is going to be ridiculous. I didn't even check to see if this will fit. This doesn't even fit on this pipe. So that'll have to get ground until it does fit. But maybe we just cut a hole in the hood and just stick that out like that. How's that? Look good? Beautiful. Yeah. That thing is ginormous. Off the front, maybe? Do I even need this? I don't even honestly know if I need this. I think with this style turbo, It's actually designed, how do I say this? Designed to hold a little bit of pressure so that the spool, it doesn't take so long to spool back up. It's kind of what I was reading on the interwebs. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. But I'm thinking the only place, we'll just set that on the floor. I'm thinking the only place for this is going to be right there. Yeah. Thinking it's going to have to go like that. Looks kind of dumb. It's going to look kind of dumb. But this whole thing is kind of dumb. So I don't really care. So I think in right about yonder is going to be the best place for it. Or I order a smaller one if they make a smaller one. I would assume they do. But right there I think is where we're going to end up putting it, because that's the only place we have to put it. And yeah. So I'll have to mark this pipe and give the end that I dropped on the floor to Troy Boy to take to work so that somebody can TIG weld it. Actually, I might be able to take it to work and have somebody at work TIG weld it. I might do that too. But this will end up going right here. So I'm not going to mark this or anything until I actually have this all fitted up and working. This is probably not the most ideal location because it's directly above the exhaust. But once again, none of this is going to make sense. None of this makes sense. And that's that. So that's about as far as we can get today. Tomorrow I will go see if I can find some exhaust, which isn't going to be tight enough, but whatever. And then, yeah. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Yo, new day. Final day. It's actually been a couple days. Yesterday, Sunday, I went to watch the Packers beat the Texans. Pretty good game. Hopefully you watched it on the TV. Also, I made some room in here. Got Taylor's car out. I also booger welded casters on my table. Put my vise up on here finally. So, yeah, doesn't look like I did much at all. But trust me, there's more room in here and more to come. So, like I said, it's been a few days. Sorry. I got my oil pan gasket in. I also bought and got a different 90 with a 2" to 2.5 to put on here. So hopefully that'll all work. Yeah, that's kind of all I have planned. I want to try to get this stuff buttoned up so that the turbo, the piping's all done. And then next video we can work on vacuum stuff. So I don't know if we're going to run this today. I would really like to, but I don't know if we're going to. It would be smarter not to. Let's put it that way. Just because of, you know, vacuum hoses and stuff. So I'm going to crawl underneath that thing, get the oil pan off of there. That's just held down by 2 bolts. I'm going to put a little silicone on this to that, stick it back up in there, and then we can play with this intercooler, not intercooler, but charge piping. So I'm going to get that done, and I'll see you when I get that oil pan on. Well, I got the oil pan on. I think I got silicone in more places than actually on the gasket itself. It also took a lot longer than I expected it to, but whatever. It is what it is. It's on. So I said I was going to work on finishing up this charge pipe, but actually I lied because I completely forgot that I bought different fittings for my oil pressure line. I do not like how long this pressure line is, and I do not like how close. You probably cannot see down here, but the oil pressure switch is like extremely close to that header. So I want to work on trying to change up, I guess, how this oil pressure line is. I want to try to utilize the original one that I got that's shorter. So I'm thinking if I can get this in there on a 90, I can come underneath the header and up. So I'm going to work on pulling this header off, turbo and header off, and then we'll get that all situated and then probably put this all back together. And yeah, go from there. So I'm going to time lapse this and see when I got it done. All right, so hopefully that will work out a little better. I put like a 90 on the bottom for my AN line to go onto, and then put this to the top. Hopefully it's better. I don't know if it's going to be, honestly. Regardless, it's probably going to be pretty close, but hopefully at least this way it doesn't melt my wiring off. But I'll throw the header in there and see if it's even going to work. All right, let's just test this quick. Yeah, that's a lot better. Much, much better. If I can get, if the line reaches anyways. I kind of nicked these threads up, so hopefully this even goes on. I guess it does. Hopefully that'll be tall enough. Should be. Looks okay. Well, before I forget, I'm going to put oil in this. Of course, I drained all the good oil out, and all I have is 2 quarts of Rotella T4 1030, and then I got 2 quarts of 1540 diesel oil. So that's what you want to do when you first put a turbo on, is put a bunch of random oil in it. But it's what I got, so it's what we're going to use. So I'm going to get this filled up. And then we can more or less pick up where we started, besides for putting an oil pan on. Alright, so that's done. So I'm going to put this stupid little thing on here that I made, wherever that went. Where did I put it? Right over here. So this can go on here like so. Something like that. I'm actually going to plug in this mass airflow sensor. Something like that. I did not get a hose clamp. That's okay. Something like that will be okay. Okay, so now, like I said, back to where we started. Put this on here. I'm going to go underneath this cable. Should fit on there, like that. This is my new boot. New boot goofing. Ooh, that is going to be a little short. Well, I bet we can make that work. I'd like to make this pipe that we put in between here long enough to kind of hold this up off the exhaust. I think. I don't know. Yeah, this is going to be stupid. I could pull this back some. All these boots pulling back a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to measure this tube, cut a hunk out. Should have a chunk already, probably, from leftover stuff I cut. Right here. Something like that. How much of this do I need? I'm just gonna randomly cut this. Okay, so something like so. Might go. I don't know. Something like that. Push this on here. Something like that. And then this should go on here. Something like that. Come on. Get on There we go. Does it look stupid? Yes, it does. Is it going to work? Yes, it will. So I did buy one of these stupid oil filters, little cone filters to put on here, like so. But that's the setup right there. Looks stupid, but I mean, what do you expect? So, I can't live without starting this thing. I'm not going to leave the charge pipe on it. I'm going to take that off. I want to make sure we're getting oil up there, so I'm going to pull off the drain on the bottom, and I'm just going to let it, I'm going to start it and just make sure we're getting oil through the turbo. Odin, hush, get. So yeah, let's, I'm going to pull that off, probably put a drain pan under there, try to fire it, make sure we're getting oil, and then that'll be about it. All right, I got my oil line off, or the drain off down there. I did stick the mass airflow in here because before, like I said, when I tried to run this, it would not run. I ended up actually having to unplug this, so I'm hoping now that it's in line, maybe it'll just run like it's supposed to. But let's see what happens. Hopefully I don't get a whole bunch of oil all over the place, but I don't know. Fire in the hole. There we go. Getting oil now. Okay. Perfect. That's good. Sorry, I had my mic upside down. Pushed a lot of oil through there. Okay, I'm going to put that drain back on, and then we'll fire it up and wrap her off a few times. All right, I got my drain put on, so we should be good to go. Oh, she's spinning. Oh yeah. Should we? Just because? Oh, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna happen. Probably not a good idea anyway. Alright. Oh yeah. Look at that turbski just a spinning in there. So stupid. So stupid it's good. Alright, better shut her off. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Got a lot of knick-knacky miscellaneous crap. We actually did most of it 2 or 3 times because that's just the way it goes. But turbo's mounted up. I got the gaskets and everything on it. We got oil. We got a drain. We got all of our piping half-assed figured out. Looks stupid, but it is what it is. Maybe at some point I will try to get that intercooler that's underneath all that crap. Try to mount that up underneath here. I got a new radiator sitting in a box over yonder, so maybe we'll play with that when we replace the radiator. But there's like nowhere to run pipe through here, so I don't see that happening. But that's all. I appreciate you watching. If you stuck around and made it this far, please like, comment, subscribe, all that garbage. Next video, we'll probably be playing with vacuum lines. There's about 17,000 vacuum lines on here, and there's an EGR. I don't really know what to do about that. It's in a really bad spot. But worry about that. We will worry about that. I will worry about that next time. So, yeah. Catch you on the next one.